Hi, good evening, and welcome to everyone on Love 101 FM, Facebook, and YouTube Live. This is Family Time. Family Time is about your issues and your relationships. It is about your at-home family, your community family, and your global family. Family Time is produced by Family Life Ministries, and our aim is to enable healthy families, which will lead to healthy nations. So stay with us, and please connect with us via all our platforms. You can friend us on Facebook at FLM-Family Life Ministries. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Family Life Ministries-FLMJA. And on Instagram, you can keep up with what's happening, and it is simply FLMJA. Now, while Family Time is a family program, we'd like to caution you that it may, on the odd occasion, touch on what some may consider mature subject matter. So your discretion is advised. All right, if you have young ones sitting with you or in the area, be sure to ensure that what they hear and what they are listening to, you can explain and guide them accordingly. All right. My name is Roland Gale. Life has ups and downs, twists and turns, and sometimes the changes that come with all that seem overwhelming or kind of like a big empty space. You may have stepped into a quagmire, that's quicksand, or run into some very good fortune. Doesn't matter. Rain or shine, change is going to come. That's the one thing that is certain, and that is change. And when it does come, there's the need to know how to navigate change. Let's talk about change as 2024 rolls into 2025. We're changing the year. Now, what changes are you hoping for? What changes are you not hoping for? What changes are you dreading? How are you going to navigate either the good changes or the bad changes? How do we identify them? As usual, there is a whole lot to talk about. And while we do that, we want to hear from you, all right? And so here is your question. What changes in your life would you like to make for the new year? What changes in your life would you like to make for the new year? Send us your answers via the WhatsApp line, and it is 997-3125. You can send text messages or voice notes. And if you're sending a voice note, keep it short, please, 30 seconds or less. You can also watch and comment live on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. We're going to come back shortly with our special guest, Angelica Dalrymple. Don't go nowhere. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to Family Time on Love 101, and welcome to our special guest, Angelica Dalrymple. I hope I said that right. Angelica Dalrymple, right?
Yes, you're right now.
All right, I said it wrong the first time.
Yes.
All right, I'm glad I got it right. Angelica is the CEO of ASK Consultancy. And I'm wondering if I should just say Ask Consultancy.
It's fine too.
Yeah. And coaching services. She's an altruistic counselor, associate applied psychologist, consultant, lifestyle coach, educator, and author. When I grow up, I want to be like you. How are you, Lady Angelica?
I am grateful and I'm hopeful rolling with you into 2025 with all those changes that will come. Mhm.
I love it. I love it. You sound hopeful and you sound like you are ready. So we're going to try and get our listeners ready as well. And for our audience, I know sometimes you're watching, sometimes you're listening in your car. We want you to answer this question. What changes in your life would you like to make for the new year? And we're not just talking about New Year's resolutions. We're talking about real changes that you want to make. All right, you can send us a WhatsApp message, and it is 997-3125. Or you can put a comment on Facebook, or you can put a comment on our YouTube channel. So let's go in. We're talking about how to navigate change. That's our topic today. And let's remember that change is not always a bad thing. Sometimes change is a good thing. And since we have limited time here on the show, we're going to try and just go through as much as we can. We're not going to try and be too specific. But I know that Lady Angelica is going to give us some real insights and answer some really strong questions. So we're going to start. We're going to start with an easy one. If we were playing cricket, they would just say this is just a regular ball, right? No spin ball, no fast ball, just a regular ball. What is change?
Okay, before I say anything, good evening to all the families, all the people who are listening, and get more to come because this is a topic that it is so inevitable. So let me start by change is natural. That's number one, and it is inevitable. It's unescapable. You cannot escape it. It is inescapable. You cannot escape it. It's an aspect. It's a part of our lives. Everybody, children, anybody, everybody goes through change. Change is really making or becoming different. It's a variation from the usual way, and change it may be positive or negative, it may be temporary or permanent, and it can be voluntarily or imposed. I hope that's a mouthful.
That is a whole lot that you said a while ago. And, you know, I was going to ask if there are different types of change, but you just went straight into it. And there are two types of change that you mentioned a while ago that I would love for us to just kind of identify or define a little bit better. And one is voluntary, and the other one is inescapable. I think that's what I heard you say. There's
Yes,
voluntary change, and then there's inescapable change. Can you
voluntary or
define
imposed. But voluntary or
imposed?
imposed, that's right.
Imposed. All right. So there's voluntary change and there's imposed change. What's the difference?
All right. So change, actually, you have to give up something. So there is an acceptance or compliance versus refusal, defiance, and resistance. When the change is voluntarily, you make up your mind to give it up. So it's easily accepted and you comply, even though change is a challenge. However, when it is imposed, you find that there's a refusal, there's resistance, there's defiance, don't want to change, not changing anything. No, change here.
I wish more of our viewers were watching because that was a real defiant movement that you made.
Yes, right. Changes here is like, how should I say it? It's the voluntary change as opposed to imposed change. Voluntary change is like the intersection between desperation and innovation. So you're desperate, you need something, you're becoming hopeless without it. So you recognize that there must be a change. You have to make a change. That is voluntarily. And you move to something new, doing something different, new ideas, new method, and so forth, an introduction of something new. However, now, the other one, Before I go to the other one, this one, which is voluntarily, it is usually coming with intrinsic motivation because you want it. So, therefore, even though you have to give up something, you know that change is starting the mind, your mind is ready for it. So, the change will happen even though you go through some difficult times. However, the imposed change, which we cannot run from because our environment imposes changes on us from time to time. You have different types of changes to the developmental, you have the transitional and all transformation, all different types. But let me talk about the imposition part. When change is imposed on you, it's like an intersection between imposition and adaptation. So it is imposing and it is telling you to adapt. Take it, take it, take it. You must conform to it. It is compelling you to fit into a behavior or a situation that is suitable. No, it may not seem suitable for you because your perception is totally different. So you're going to find that you have that kind of defiance. Now, the environment is usually imposing. Let's say COVID. Look at COVID. Remember when COVID came? That was a change that was pushed on us whether or not we wanted it. Babies, adults, everybody will have to be wearing masks and so forth and so on. And it's about understanding that we have to change. And even when we resist, there are some imposed changes that needs to be imposed change that needs to be accepted. However, when you start going through the steps on how to deal with changes, then you'll understand better. Because impulse one is pushing you, not asking you, it is pushing you out of your comfort zone because it is saying you must need it. And that is where we have most of our challenges with changes as it relates to positive changes.
I think this is so interesting. As you're talking, my brain goes to the idea of whether or not there is an intersection between these two. And when you raised COVID, I wondered to myself, the desperation of being safe or feeling safe, did that in any way alleviate the imposition of the rules and restrictions that were put on us? By that I mean, is there any kind of overlap between a voluntary change and an imposed change? Can an imposed change actually be received voluntarily?
Education is key because when the person understands the benefit of the change, the person will better accept the change because self-preservation is key. So it depends on the person's perception here as it relates to the impose. Because if you notice that during COVID, there are some people who would never wear any mask.
Yes, yes.
You know?
You couldn't pay them to wear the mask.
Exactly. So we find that, yes, they are imposed changes that some people receive.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. We are almost upon our break. And so I'm going to remind our viewers and our listeners, our audience, that we want them to answer this question. What changes in your life would you like to make for the new year? We're looking forward to hearing what and reading what you have to say. So send your answers to us via WhatsApp text and WhatsApp voice notes. And the number is 997-3125. And try to keep those voice notes no longer than 30 seconds, please. And of course, if you put your comment on Facebook or if you put it on our YouTube channel, we will read it and we will ask our special guest to give some responses to them. And just so you know, the numbers for the FLM head office in Kingston are 920-1034 or 926-8101. Stick around and we're going to talk some more with Angelica Dalrymple. Soon come back.
Some call it home, but Jamaicans say yard. Whether it's our house or country, we love we yard, especially at Christmas. There's only one store with only Jamaican products for your yard. It's Things Jamaican. Take the yard with new yard brands this Christmas. Shop 30 new yard brands in food, fashion, and decor. Get exclusive deals, discounts, free gifts, and social media prizes. Check thingsjamaicanshopping.com for more. Things Jamaican, home of authentic Jamaican brands. The management and the staff of the Jamaica Customs Agency extend their very best wishes to you and your family for a safe, peaceful, and enjoyable holiday. Whether you're effecting clearance at the port, traveling to and from the airport, or undertaking other transactions, we urge you to travel safely, use good judgment, and stay within the speed limit. We thank you for your support throughout 2024 and look forward to a healthy, prosperous, and productive new year. Happy New Year from Jamaica Customs.
Unlock your dream home with a mortgage loan from JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Get up to $20 million per borrower. Access your NHC portion all in one place. A warm welcome awaits you at our convenient locations where membership is easy and you may be eligible. Call us or visit www.jpscu.com to learn more and start your journey to home ownership today. Come home with a mortgage loan from JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Your financial partner for life.
GK1 now introduces third-party motor insurance from GK General Insurance. Download and log into the GK1 app. Then select one of 3 affordable third-party options, 25, 35, or 40,000 annually. But there's more. For a limited time, when you purchase a third-party insurance on the GK1 app, you get $1,000 in your GK1 wallet. Yes, money back just like that. One app, 3 motor insurance options from GK General Insurance. Download and insure your car on the GK1 app today.
We will be having the most fun ever with family and friends New Year's Day and Nestle Cream Fun Fest Family Festival. At Home Gardens, come enjoy Jamaica's largest one-day amusement park with over 50 exciting rides and more. Live performances from Princeton, our biggest food village, bingo, giveaways, and discounts from our fantastic sponsors and booth holders. Admission adults 1,200, children 3 years and over 800, and toddlers free. Family Festival, Wednesday, January 1st, New Year's Day at Home. It's open at 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come out early. With 1+ growing up is not a breast milk substitute. It is a milk product suited to babies older than 12 months. Breastfeeding should continue for as long as possible.
Skill yourself and earn what you are worth with international advanced diplomas and associate degrees at IIRQ Engineering and Technical College. Registered with UCJ JTech and an approved City and Guild Center. Get trained at global standards in 9 to 18 months and earn advanced diplomas and associate degrees in electronic and electrical engineering, logistics and supply chain management, motor vehicle repairs, business management, food prep, and food and beverage. Day, evening, and Saturday classes begin very soon. Register this week and choose a payment plan that suits you. Visit us at 32 Hope Road, Kingston, or call 876-322-4029. IIRQ, your premium technical college choice.
Welcome back. We are talking about how to navigate change this evening, and you're listening to Family Time on Love 101 FM. And we want you to tell us, what changes in your life would you like to make for this new year 2025 that's coming? Our guest today is Angelica Dalrymple, CEO of Ask Consultancy and Coaching Services. Angelica, can I ask you, what changes would you like to make for this new year coming up?
I'd like to improve my business so that I am able to help more persons. In other words, reach across the world.
Wow. I don't even want to share mine now. Oh boy, that is such a big change. That's a change that I think is purely voluntary, is it? As opposed to being
of course,
imposed.
yes, it is voluntary. It is voluntary.
Right.
So I'm intrinsically motivated for it.
Absolutely. That sounds amazing. I'd love to hear what our audience will say about their own changes, what it is that they would desire to change. Now, we're going to go back to the topic, and I want to ask, what kinds of changes that's the way I want to ask it. What kinds of changes are inevitable?
The first one that would hit me as we are talking to families, it's the developmental changes. These are inescapable. In a family, you can't run for it. You have the aging of family members. Talking about the adolescents, they were born babies and they grew up. And when we talk about imposed changes, I'm just putting this in. Talk about imposed changing. When parents impose things on adolescents, they resist. Defiance.
Absolutely.
Well, then
as a parent, I can attest to that.
Right. before the show ends, I believe we will identify ways in which that they can be helped.
Yes.
y-
Yes.
You know, but we have births, newborns in the family. We have death of loved ones. We have children getting ill, parents getting ill, marriages, divorces, separation, career shifts with parents, financial difficulties, family dynamics change, rules change. There are so many changes. I mean, we cannot exhaust the list, but I was just speaking of some of the changes inside of the family. And there are
Right.
many more because you have sometimes when people have to change their geographical location. There are some people who migrate, immigration, and all of that, leaving children by themselves, and all kind of changes, all kind of shifts, and some of these changes are imposed and they cause a lot of challenge to our families or in our
Right.
families.
And I just want to ask a question. Are these inevitable changes naturally bad, or are some of them good?
Well, we have positive changes, we have negative changes. There are
Right.
some changes that are negative that some people, for example, for a marriage, there are sometimes that the divorce is a good thing based on the relationship that is existing. Yes, but some people would say it's bad because they should not break up. But for health reasons and for good relationship reasons, even for the children reasons, sometimes it is good for the separation or the divorce to happen. So that is a change. So it may not be the best thing to happen, but the change at that point would be a solution to the problem, especially if these people are not Christian oriented and they can't see reconciliation and come together to fit back things together, sometimes for the health and the benefit of life, then they move apart.
All right. Still on the matter of positive or negative, is it possible for some changes to start out positive and then end up negative, or is it possible for some changes to start out negative and then become positive? And the reason why I'm asking that is because I'm thinking about something like aging. That's a change that is inevitable,
Mhm.
but when we have babies, we want them to grow up. We want them to get older, pass through adolescence, become adults. But then as our older family members continue to age, we kind of hope that it would slow down and that they wouldn't age so quickly. Is that a normal part of things? How would you address that kind
As
of
you say, I mean, these are inevitable. So we need to adapt to some of these changes. To the changes like these, we need to adapt. It's not going away. So it's understanding, be educated about the developmental lifespan. And even before persons reach to a certain age, some persons are losing their memory. Dementia is not asking anybody these days. A lot of things are happening. People are losing their arm, their leg, diabetes, all kind of things. So we just have to learn to adapt to changes, because sometimes in the middle of your youthful years, yes, you find that things are happening that really put the family into a difficult situation, and it has to be a change that will make a difference. That change will have to bring another change that people can survive.
Absolutely. There's another thing that I wanted us to talk about, and I don't know if this is a type of change, but we were talking about change that is inevitable versus voluntary. But what about change that is unexpected versus expected? Can you talk a little bit about unexpected versus expected?
Okay, so we can put the unexpected under the imposed changes.
Okay.
Under the imposed changes, because it comes to you. Nothing that you were thinking about. So it just comes to you. But again,
Right.
it's your perception of it. The first thing is to understand, how will this benefit me? What are
Mhm.
the consequences and so forth? So just don't stay away from it. Find out. Education is key. Being aware, mindfulness is key in all of these changes, because sometimes the change, although it is imposed, it comes for your benefit. So
Say that
resist.
again. Say that
Sometimes
again.
the change, although it is imposed, is for your best interest, your benefits. But because
Wow.
we are not easily adapting to change, because when people change, it's like you are in your comfort zone. You're stable in what you're doing or in what you're experiencing, and this thing just happened. No, nobody's just going to jump up and say, I'm going to jump over the different side. No. People are going to feel out of place, uncomfortable. They're going to ask why and all of this, and they will resist. But education is key to help persons to understand that this is something to help you. Give it a try.
Yeah, I like what you just said a while ago, and it makes me remember there is a term that I learned in marketing, and it is um influencer, early adapter versus people who are influenced and who adapt late. Are there particular types of people who respond better to change?
Those persons are persons that tap into their mental capacity. People who are forward thinkers, people who are planners, they will understand. And even some children, they are making themselves aware of something, what your worldview is, your perception of life. All of those things come together. Mind power, these things come together. Are you a positive thinker? Are you optimistic? Are you a pessimist? Are you living in despair and just feel like everything is dark, or you're looking for light? So I could say a lot on this. But again, I said there is no one way for change to come. And the first thing is to find out, how will this impact me? It doesn't take a million years to do that, especially if it is something in general. For example, you are a parent, and in your space, you're seeing different things happening. Get help. Find out what is happening. You don't understand. Don't try to patch and what you call it, mend, or don't do that, because a patch can tear worse than what was there before. So you find out what is happening, reach out and find out and get help, so that you can adapt to what is happening, or you can also institute a change to make
You
that
know,
thing better.
I am enjoying this conversation because in a lot of ways I'm one of those people who say if you ignore it, it will go away. Is that a very good approach to take?
Never ever.
Never ever, never at
Ever.
all.
Never
But I say
ever.
if you pick at it, it get worse. If you don't pick at it, it will get better.
Well, depending on what it is. Because if it comes to you, you need to pay attention. You need to be aware. So if it is not something good, you need to know that it's not something good, and you leave it alone. But you just don't throw it out or ignore it because you don't know what it is. Find out.
Inform yourself. Get as much
Inform yourself.
information about it
Very
as
good.
you can.
Exactly.
Oh,
Because you can miss an opportunity there. Your life can go down spiral. Your life can go down the slippery slope if you allow an opportunity to miss you.
yes.
Some people, as you're speaking, I remember like some families are living in some areas that when it rains, when we have some serious rains, then you know that they're going to be washed away. However, no matter how much information you would have given them, said, listen, move to highlands, leave from here, they're not leaving. And guess what? When the rain comes, what happened?
They get washed away.
Lives are lost.
Yes, yes.
So we have to pay attention.
You can't afford to ignore it at all. That approach is not a good approach.
No.
Not at all. All right, we're going to go for our next break. This is Family Time, live on Love 101 FM. And you can catch us on YouTube and on Facebook. It is produced by Family Life Ministries. And for our social media users, those who are listening to us in places where you can send us voice notes and text messages, we want to hear from you. Tell us, what changes in your life would you like to make for the new year? Let us know via the WhatsApp line. It's 997-3125. That's 997-3125. And if you're going to send a voice note, keep it shorter than 30 seconds, please. We want to hear from you this evening. All right. Our topic is how to navigate change. It's break time. But just before, let's get a word from Reverend Mike. And this is an episode of WTF, Word to Flesh Moments with Reverend Mike. Don't go anywhere.
The Bible book of Ecclesiastes 3 declares, "For everything There is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. This scripture helps us understand that life is made up of changing seasons and times. Change can be good. Change can be bad. Change can cause you to be joyful. Change can cause you great pain. But no matter the circumstances there are in life, here are some life principles that should never change as we all learn to deal with change. Number one, accept the fact that change is inevitable. Don't be surprised or hurt or panicked, for change is a natural part of our human existence. Number two, don't overreact to or underestimate the impact of change. Make sure your response is appropriate to the level of change. Number three, trust in God. Cry out to Him to determine if the change is godly or ungodly. Then respond accordingly. God is aware of every change and every circumstance in your life. We need to trust Him and discern what is of Him and what is not, and respond accordingly. Proverbs 3 declares to us, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him and He will direct your path. That's His promise through every season and time of change. I'm Reverend Mike from Fellowship Tabernacle, and we just had a WTF moment.
The time by grace to move is
6:02 p.m.
We've seen a lot of our customers make some good moves over the years, whether it's sharing a hug with a friend you haven't seen in a long time or sharing a meal. Growth has been there. So let's keep making these moments together, because rest assured, every time you choose growth, you know you're making a good move.
The best way to start the year is with family and friends at Nestle King Family Festival, January 1st at Hope Gardens, Bounce Being right there in the fantastic fun zone and cool out in our water park. But there's more. NASCAR parade, games arcade, fantastic train ride, bingo, and our biggest food village. 1,200 children, 3 and over 800 and toddlers free. Fun Fest Family Festival, Wednesday, January 1st, New Year's Day at Hope Gardens. Gates open at 10 to 7 p.m. Come out early. Tomato 1 Plus growing up is not a breast milk substitute. It is a milk product suited to babies older than 12 months. Breastfeeding should continue for as long as possible.
Jamaica Youth for Christ presents Genesis Praise Fest 2025, featuring DJ Nicholas, Kevin Downswell, Sister Pat, Brian Marge, John Mark Wigan, Blessed Messenger, Roddy Gotti, Prince Sad, Ryan Davis, Audia Spencer Brown, and the Genesis Praise Squad. Audience at 1 at 5 p.m. MCs Nadine Blair, Markland Edwards, Dexter Johnson, and Ella. General admission $3,500, pre-sold $4,000 at the gate. Comfort experience $10,000, 12 and under $1,500 at the gate. Get your tickets now. St. Jago, Billion Mall, Portland Mall, and KD's Family Pharmacy, Ryan's Bookstore, and Coates Hardware. StarOpen.com/Genesis 2025. Brought to you by Kingston Wharves, Ace Hardware, JPS, Love 101 FM, Omo International, Yummy, Hyundai, powered by the Chase Fund, and endorsed by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport. Genesis Praise Fest 2025, Wednesday, January 1 at 5 p.m. Riley Williams Entertainment Center.
Receive words of strength from the Voice of Power with Bishop Dr. Delford Davis.
The battle of sin has been declared many years ago and is still raging. I will put enmity between thee and between the woman, thy seed and her seed. A war will be on perpetually until Jesus returns. But I know who has already won the war. Who has already won the war?
That's the Voice of Power with Bishop Dr. Delford Davis, brought to you by the Power of Faith Ministries International in Portmore. Voice of Power comes to you every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. right here on the Family Station. Love 101.
Speak my Lord. Speak my Lord. Speak and I will answer thee.
The evening, and you are tuned to Love 101. This is Family Time, brought to you by Family Life Ministries, FLM. And FLM provides counseling for people with all kinds of challenges from all walks of life. Our show this evening is about how to navigate change. Navigating change is one of the biggest challenges you will face in your life. Letting go of what was can be difficult, even when the change is welcomed. And we have with us our special guest this evening, Lady Angelica Dalrymple. And we are so happy that she's here, because I would be telling you things that I only just made up, but she's telling you things that she knows, some serious expert stuff. And Lady Angelica, we want to get back to something that you had mentioned before the break, when we were talking about natural disasters and people being warned about stuff and them not paying attention, and the kind of outcomes that can result because of that. And I want you to give us a little bit more on it. Why is it important to know what to do when change comes?
It is important because it makes you informed. Information is key, knowledge is key, awareness is key, especially in parenting. That is key, because it's a responsibility that encompasses so much of family members, your children and yourself. And knowing what to do, yes, will avoid you spiraling downward. It will help you to survive. Now, the question you ask is, what about changes?
Why is it important to know what to do when change comes?
Right.
That's the question.
That was key that I just said to you a while ago. It is very important to educate oneself. Right. Because when change comes, sometimes the kind of emotion that comes with it, you're not even able to balance yourself as you should. But if you have prior knowledge, you're going to that prior knowledge will mitigate some of the anxiety, because you're going to remember that this could be good, even though it comes in a way that I would not prefer. It comes at a time when I would not prefer. It is happening. For example, in a relationship, a relationship that has been going on, and all of a sudden it just starts becoming dysfunctional. Nobody wants to let go. Yes. However, one person is letting go. No, no, that can cause real emotional turmoil, anxiety, stress, ill health, all kind of things. No, you know it's coming, and although you don't want the person to leave you, but you are in a situation that is damaging you. Yes, so you have to understand that this is imposed on you. However, you need to make a change, something different. You need to transition to something different. If it's even your thought process, even if you have to stay in this space, but your thought process has to transition to know that, okay, I cannot tie this person to me. Yes, the person has a free will. So you heard me saying it's education. You're understanding the person has a free will. Oh, yes, the person made a vow. However, that person is the one who breaks the vow, is not me. You know, so you have to start understanding the whole database and work with the database along with your mind power to make sure that you are staying healthy in a situation like that.
One of the things that comes to my mind is something that I know they have begun doing I don't know if they have begun, but they are doing it now in schools, I don't know how long they were doing it for. And it is this kind of drill. So they have a drill for if there is a fire. They have a drill for if there is an earthquake.
Earthquake, yes.
They have a drill for
That's
a
right.
variety of things. And
Exactly.
what they do is they kind of practice, and then they do it a few times so that the
Mhm.
students and the teachers
Mhm.
know if this change occurs, this is the right response that we want from
Yeah, you
you.
run to the safety area where you run to leave, whatever. Yes, and that is true. So I'm saying education, prior education, be informed.
Right.
So you were talking about family time, parents, family. You need to discuss things, open up and discuss things, or find ways of getting help from support groups. Yes,
Right.
and there are
Right.
many support groups all over. Yes, that is
But
a
we can
key.
start talking, yeah, we can start talking now about some tips to help people to navigate change. And I would ask you before we go for the break to just probably give us two main tips. What is the first tip that you would give someone in terms of navigating change?
Be ready in your mind because change happens first in your mind. It comes with a vision, a method, and a will, especially when it's voluntary.
Oh,
You
no,
know,
you said that too fast. You said that too fast. Say it again. Say it again.
okay. I said change happens first in your mind. Change is not outward. Change has to be inward. Because if you are not changed from your mind, then no change is done. Yes, even if it's imposed or if
Transformed
it's
by the renewing of
voluntary,
your mind.
but transformed by the renewing of your mind,
Wow.
right? Hence, you need to prepare to manage to sustain the change because you don't want to, unless it's a short term temporary change. If it's a temporary change, you know it's going to last for 6 months or so, and you know there's a time limit to it. But if it is a change that is going to encompass your lifestyle and all of that, you know, you had diabetes, you need to change your diet, full stop. And you're changing the diet, it has to start in your mind. It doesn't start when the food is not in the house. It starts in your mind. So even if the food is in front of you, you don't touch it.
Right, right, right,
Right.
right,
And
right.
then you must have a desire to change, and it must be a positive change you're looking forward to. Positive changes. So some people make negative changes, but positive changes. So you acknowledge and accept that there is a need for the change and it is something different. So it's going to be uplifting you, it's going to be enlightening you, it's going to be morally beneficial. So you look at the benefits as opposed to the consequences, measure them, and you will see that it is something that you need to go into. Mental preparation is key. You have to develop a mental and a positive mindset to reduce all the mind blockers that come. What if? What if I do this? And this and all of these things that will come, the negative thoughts, because I personally believe that a change is something that I must make, whether it is imposed or whether it is voluntary, right? So therefore, if I do not allow my mindset to embrace it, then it's just not going to go anywhere. Just like some people make some New Year's resolution, they just do it. Yes, and
Write it
nothing
down
behind it.
somewhere.
Write
Yeah,
it
just
down
write it
somewhere.
down
I
somewhere.
mean, before the day that they finish writing it ends, they don't remember it.
It fly out of
January
them
1.
head. Yes,
Right.
yes, yes.
And educate yourself. That's key. I said it already. Make informed decisions. Be proactive. Have a vision of what the change will be, you know. And if it is imposed, just listen, ask questions, and learn about it so that you don't push it aside. And in the family, discuss the changes with the family. Everybody needs to know what changes are happening. Whether a lot of parents hide things from children and hurt the children so badly. Oh, they're too small. They can't understand. Find ways and means to tell them,
To
right?
explain it.
To
All right, I'm
explain
going
it.
to ask you to hold it there though, because we're going to go for our final break now. And we are on family time, and this is on Love 101 FM, your family station. You can connect with us on YouTube and on Facebook, and it is, of course, produced by Family Life Ministries. Remember the question: what changes in your life would you like to make for the new year? And our WhatsApp number is 997-3125. We want to hear from you. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. come to heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Jamaica Youth for Christ to present Genesis Praise Fest 2025 featuring DJ Nicholas, Kevin Downswell, Sister Pat, Ryan Mars, John Mark Wigan, Blessed Messenger, Gotti Gotti, Inside, Ryan Davis, Audience Spencer Brown, and the Genesis Praise Squad. Audience of 1 at 5 p.m. MCs Nadine Blair, Markland Edwards, Dexter Johnson, and Era. General admission $3,500, pre-sold $4,000 at the gate. Comfort experience $10,000, $12 and under $1,500 at the gate. Get your tickets now. St. Jacob, Billion Mall, Portland Mall, and Katie's Family Pharmacy, Ryan's Bookstore, and Holtz Hardware. StarOpen.com/Genesis 2025. Brought to you by Kingston Wharves, Ace Hardware, JPS, Love 101 FM, Omo International, Yummy, Hyundai, powered by the Chase Fund, and endorsed by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport. Genesis Praise Fest 2025, Wednesday, January 1 at 5 p.m. Randy Williams Entertainment Center.
Every Thursday morning, Level No One shares with you power-packed messages, words of encouragement, and testimonies of God's miraculous power. You get all of that in the Don't Give Up broadcast, brought to you by Celebration Church at the Portmore Skating Ring in the Portmore Mall with Pastor Prophet Michael Carter. Be sure to stay tuned to Level No One for the Don't Give Up broadcast. Get the word you need to start your day right. The Don't Give Up broadcast, Thursdays at 5:15 a.m. on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back. It is now 17 minutes past 6 in the evening, and you're tuned to Love 101 FM, and you're listening to Family Time, brought to you by Family Life Ministries. And FLM provides counseling for people with all kinds of challenges from all walks of life. Remember, you can tune into the program via our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. The topic today is how to navigate change, and our special guest is Angelica Dalrymple. And I'm so glad she's on here talking with me, and I'm welcoming her back as soon as we can get her back on. And nobody want to listen to me chat my foolishness. Angelica,
Yes.
it is so good that you are with us, and people have been sending in some voice notes. So let's take a quick listen to the voice notes that we have, and I'm going to ask you to comment on each. Go ahead, studio.
Good evening. I'm listening. For me, I don't think it's more of a change. It's more improvement, doing what you was always doing and do it to the best of our ability. I am not gonna call it change. Just had to, instead of, there's nothing that I have to change, just to had.
Thank you so much. I didn't hear who was speaking, but we have a lady who is telling us that she wants to do what she's doing, but do it better. Any comments on that, Angelica?
Of course, that is a change. Addition is a change. Minus is a change. It doesn't matter at what measure, it is a change. She wants to do it better. That's a change.
That
It's
is a
moving
change.
from one stage to the other, something different. So she was at number 8. She wants to do it better, number 9, or even 8.5 or 8.25 is still a change.
Mhm.
So it's all about
Absolutely.
change. And as she said, growth, upliftment, moving yourself forward, it is a change. So she needs to get a plus, meaning give her a round of applause. That's a change. But
That
some
is a
people,
change.
and the point she makes brings me to say this. Some people think that changes are something humorous or something huge or something
Humongous.
humongous,
Yeah.
and things like that. No, any little minute. If you had a baby and the baby wasn't walking and the baby starts walking, that's a change.
Yes.
And that's a positive change.
Yes.
So we need to measure change and give ourselves a round of applause when we make them. positively. What?
I like that. Is there another voice note, studio? Let me know if there's another one.
Good night, Uncle Durban, please.
I'm not sure if that. Go ahead.
We've taken the one voice note so far.
Okay, just one. Thank you, sir. All right, so we're going to go on. I like how the lady spoke to us about wanting to continue doing what she's doing, but doing it better. And that raised the question in my mind. We have, I think, been talking about changes that are external and getting our minds around them, and looking at changes that are voluntary, things that we desire to change in a kind of outward way. But what about changes that are internal, that we really have to make, whether we want to make or not? And I'm going to give you a very simple example. I get upset in traffic, and traffic is not getting any better, and I'm still getting upset in traffic. And when somebody cut me off, I want to quarrel. How do I go about changing my own response to that, or my own thought on things that are generated inside? How do I do that?
Okay, very good question. And I'm not doing a promotion here, but here is my book, Mind Power. This book could answer your questions and answer many questions as it relates to your internal self. Now, the point here is your perception of life, your perception of what is happening, because there are other people in the same traffic and they would be quiet and they're not quarreling and, they just move on. Their perception of the traffic makes a difference. Now, you are the one who's irritating yourself because the traffic not going anywhere. So you have to tap into your mind power and recognize that, listen, I need to perceive this in a different way. We call it reframing. Reframe the whole thing. Think differently. That's a change. Think differently. So if you say, oh, I want to go to work and whatever you can start thinking, how else can I do this tomorrow morning? Yes. And to avoid me doing that. As a matter of fact, you can calm down, turn on your radio, play some music or something, start working on your internal self. Everything happens in the mind. And if you switch your mind, then you would be driving in the traffic and don't even recognize that you're angry or you're upset or so forth.
Wow. We have a couple notes. I just want to read one of them. It says that change is very stressful. And one of the things that this person wants to do is eliminate additional stress. Change for 2025 is to grow spiritually, to do more for Christ. What are your thoughts on those comments by this listener?
The source, what is causing the stress? Most times we are the ones causing our own stress. Why? Because, for example, the light bill is to be paid and you don't have any money. It didn't ask you to stress. You don't have the money. I mean, I'm not saying it foolishly. You don't have the money. So when you stress, you're going to need more money to go to the doctor. So you're adding to what, So the point here is start thinking positively. Find solutions as opposed to adding to the problems. No, the person mentioned reading the word or going to church or doing whatever. The peace that God gives will help you to understand your provision. Where is your source coming from? Could it be that you need to find out what is pushing these stress? What are the things that are bothering you? The frustration and the confusion and all of those things. Find that out, because that is where you're going to be helping yourself, the source of it, and deal with the source. If you need help, as I said, there are persons who are trained to help you. And even the church that you're going, perhaps there are persons there who are trained in certain areas that can help you as well. So you can manage on your own. Right. You can manage on your own.
Yes.
Get help, because God created us in His design. We have mind power. We have it. God has given us a spirit of power so that we can carry on in life in a good way. So if you find that you're stressing out, something is happening and needs to be. Of course, change is stressful. We're not saying it. But if you educate yourself and navigate your way, then you will find that, okay, yes, it happens.
All right. There is a quick voice note from Melcy Wisdom, and I'm going to ask the studio if they can play it for us.
Let me see if I can make myself a little more clear. Things that I used to do, I was always there for people, helping, caring, doing what I am being able to do. So if I used to do 20 and I can do 25, I wouldn't call that a change. I would call it a had to. I don't change anything. I find myself can do more, I do more. So tell me,
Okay.
change,
All
I
right.
don't call that a change.
Okay. If you add,
Because
if
if
you
I
had,
do more, you do more.
all right. If you have three things and you add one to it, what that? You get four. That's a change.
That's a change. That is
That's
a
a change.
change.
So you do not
Yes.
change the duties that you're doing, but you're adding to it. That means you're upping it. You're taking it to another level. It's a change.
And
If you're walking
I
on the road, and you reach at point A and you continue walking, it's still a change. You change from point A to point B.
yes, and I like how she has framed it because she's talking about success. You can be successful and then you can be even more successful. That is
Raise
a
the
change.
bar. Mhm.
You're raising the bar. And so when we talk about somebody like Usain Bolt setting a new world record, him been running all along, him never changed, he still run
Exactly.
him run. But he has changed the record and therefore that is success. And
Yes.
we are glad that Mrs. Wisdom has added to what she said before. But we're going to have to wrap up now. Final words for us, please, Angelica.
It is important to know what to do when change come because we need to stay healthy, hopeful, and focused. We need to embrace change, the positive changes, and avoid procrastination. Don't let the opportunity miss you and adapt to new situations. Some situations that we are to adapt to, sometimes we run away from them, but adapt to them. Improve your decision-making skills and reduce stress and anxiety. It promotes growth and development, as Mrs. Wisdom was saying. Whatever she's doing, she's moving to another level. We need to understand that this is change, and change is always good. Succeed in changing in your environment and be resilient. It starts in your mind. Be alert. Make sure your
Absolutely.
perspective is what it ought to be: clean, pure, and helping others, helping yourself, helping your family. Ensure that it is about growth and development, and that's good.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Can you give us your phone number? You want to give us your number?
Certainly. Or my email address. My email
Sure.
address is ask2, that's number 2, ask2, aspire@gmail.com. And if it's pronounced ask to aspire at gmail.com. Ask, the number 2, aspire@gmail.com. Telephone number
Excellent.
1876
Go ahead.
376 5960.
Say it again for me.
1876 376 5960. That's a WhatsApp
Excellent.
number.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking with you and having you here with us. And I want to say thanks to our listeners for being here with us. If you have a question of a personal nature or you're concerned about a friend or family member, call us. For more information on our services or for our counselors in Kingston and other parts of the island, contact our head office at 920-1034 or 926-8101. Note that for appointments and information on costs, you must call the offices. You can check us out on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. And on Instagram, you can reach us and it is simply FLMJA. Before we leave you, here is a reminder, and it is taken from Isaiah 58, verse 11. It says, "The Lord will guide you continually and satisfy your soul in drought and strengthen your bones. You shall be like a watered garden and like a spring of water whose waters do not fail." Join us again next week. I should say, join us again next year for another informative program. And God bless you all. Thanks to our special guest, Angelica Dalrymple, our show producer, Kathy Gale. Thanks to Derval Graham for piloting us through this hour. And of course, thanks to you for joining us. Have a great week and enjoy the rest of this year. I am Roland Gale. God bless you.